and you can quote this on me. There is no way the Orioles or Red Sox make the playoffs this season. There's no way. There's no way.
I set the bar really low at the NBA predictions.
I don't think all Mavs fans look into the stats like I do.
It's not the great value Target brand toilet paper or whatever. It's the Charmin Ultra Strong.
I don't know if Nick Nurse is the coach for the Raptors. I don't know if he's the reason why they won the 2019 championship. I feel like that was more of a team effort.
The Mavs cannot say we do not miss Seth Curry shooting threes.
This questions the firing of Dwayne Casey, who I think is a very underrated coach.
To me, the Capitals really pushed all their chips for this season.
Hello, I'm Mike Grimes, and you've been listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. As we get deeper into the playoffs, the stakes get higher, and the teams that lose, a lot of questions are asked. And we're doing a lot of these, but the Yankees, Austin, you argued, are the best, and I can see it. I think they're the best. I don't know. It's tough between them and the Tigers, but the Yankees are in a really good spot because you have Aaron Judge. You should be getting Garrett Cole back. You'll
have Stanton hopefully for a full season next year. He's looked healthier. Cam Schlittler looks like he's going to be a starter for the future. I think our rotation will be amazing next year between Cole, Fried, Rodon, Schlittler, and then Heel. I think Heel will finally get enough time to fully come back from what he was doing with earlier in the season. Now, there are some concerns. Trent Grisham's a free agent. Cody Bellinger opted out. There's question marks regarding third base. There's question marks regarding shortstop, obviously, with Volpe. So there's some things you have to answer. But I feel like of the three teams that we're going to do videos on, Tigers, Phillies, and Yankees, their timeline doesn't seem too messed up by this season. And I don't even think we had them on our World Series or bust because of the Cole injury. I remember that we did our World Series or bust after the Cole injury. And I don't think we had him on our list because, I mean, one of the best pitchers in baseball had to get Tommy John surgery. So we knew that their peak was lower than it was last season with Cole playing.
Yeah, and to me, this wasn't a do or die season for him. Because I was like, they're still going to be good and there's going to be pressure, but that's kind of just what that
next season. I feel like there will be more pressure, a lot more pressure. Actually.
Yeah, because they've kind of shown it. They brought Juan Soto back, it would have been different, but it was a different team. One thing that I think what's next for the Yankees, it seems like I say it every year, but I do think there is kind of Brian Cashman looking at him, and you talk about filling these pieces. Has he done enough? I think his job he shouldn't have too much job security. Given I
don't think Boone or Cashman will be gone. Boone has another year in his contract, same thing with Cashman. I think those guys will be brought back. I think next year is the do or die year for all those guys. I think Judge as well. His expectations, he'll be a Yankee for life based on his contract, and I doubt we trade him away, but I think that the pressure will be higher next year. Cole, a Cy Young level pitcher, will be healthy. Stanton will get him back for the full season, hopefully. Same thing with Judge. And there's a lot of young guys coming up soon. I think George Lombard Jr. will come up next year. I think Spencer Jones will come up next year and fill in either the Cody Bellinger or Trent Grisham role. Jason Dominguez has some question marks, but the team is good. Between Ben Rice, Austin Wells, I like Jazz, even though he had a bad postseason. Stanton's been a great postseason performer, even though he didn't have the batting average this year. So I like the base team. The pitching staff looks good for starters. Relievers didn't pitch as well, but the talent is there. So I like how the team is shaping up for next year. I do think if we could re-sign Bellinger, that would be a huge step in the right direction for this offseason. But because of the prospects that we have that are soon to come up, I feel like the situation is a positive one, even though they did lose to the Blue Jays.
Yeah. And kind of talking about Judge, he did perform better in the postseason compared to his previous postseasons. He was just incredible. Kind of what you expect from him, given just what he's done in the regular season. There were questions about it in the postseason, just given how he struggled recently. But to me, he kind of quieted those doubts with what he did this postseason, especially igniting comeback against the Toronto Blue Jays in that series, even though the Yankees did lose. So yeah, to me, I wouldn't fire Boone. It's more I would fire Cashman before Boone, given that to me it's a lot of the Yankees' troubles in the past have been roster construction versus managerial issues. Like it's not who he put in, it's more like they just don't have the right hitter. They built their team in a different way. This seemed like the better team where you had a lot of different hitters, of course, with Judge. He's amazing, but seemed in years past they were more home run or bust. But it did seem like they had other ways to score runs and like other players just besides Judge.
Yeah. As long as Judge stays healthy, the Yankees are going to have a chance. I believe he's this year's MVP. I believe he'll be a strong AL MVP candidate next year as well. This is going to come down to staying healthy. It always does in baseball and every sport as well. But I think the Yankees are in a good spot for next year. These other teams we're going to talk about, I think, have some more concerning and pressing questions that have to be answered sooner rather than later, while the Yankees have a lot of guys under contract that were major players. Again, Bellinger and Grisham are the biggest free agents, and there's some question marks again around shortstop and third base. So there are some questions to be answered. Same thing with some relievers. Devin Williams is also a free agent. So there's some guys that we're going to have to make some decisions on, but no like major pressing questions. We have our AL Cy Young candidates in Fried and Cole. We have our young pitchers in Heel and Schlittler. We have a very capable starter in Rodon. I like Bednar. I like obviously Stanton. I think we're in a good spot for the majority of our guys. I like our prospects coming up, but there's some questions to answer. Next year, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this team though because of not just the expectations of New York baseball with the Yankees, but also I think our team will be very, very good.
Yeah, and a lot of the questions, they are pretty solid at just, I would say, the important part in October, which is the pitching, especially starting-wise, relievers. They have solid relievers. They can always add at the trade deadline. It's more about the position players and getting to the postseason. You mentioned the holes, third base, Bellinger. And I don't think it would be the right thing to put a lot of pressure on guys coming up. I think it'd be good to, if you can re-sign Bellinger, maybe bring Trent Grisham back. So that way, if they get injured, you just have depth with those prospects and slowly ease them in instead of putting them in a high-pressure situation.
True, but Schlittler got thrown into the fire immediately and played amazing. So it's not always – this isn't like playing quarterback, right? Like every at-bat is separated from everybody else's at bat. Every play you make in the field, unless you're throwing to the first baseman, is by yourself, right? So these guys just have to stay inside themselves. And I think that the big moment they're ready for it. And sure, we need some depth pieces. And again, I would love to have both those guys back. But if they've not, I'm not sold on next year being a busted season. I think we will be in the World Series or bust list this season, as long as Judge or Cole doesn't have a major setback.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And it will be interesting to see what they do in the offseason. Are they – because they made a lot of trades after the Juan Soto, a lot of signings that worked out. Bellinger was one of those trades. Same thing with Max Fried. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. I'll let you close this episode out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know how you guys feel about this offseason for the Yankees. Who should they pick up and who should they let go?